I don't think they're as far apart. They are a step ahead. You could argue like two steps ahead in terms of it. When you realize how far apart somebody is, it's because they've done it for a long period of time. It's about like reinventing yourself a couple times, right? You could look at Roger's career. You can see like a few different phases of how he played and the things he was doing well, right? It was very obvious when he came back in 2017. It's like, oh, hitting over the backhand a lot more. You watch him play early on in his career, every return was kind of a chip just down the middle, right? Then he starts hitting over more returns. Then he did the thing to bring in like taking the return early for a couple tournaments to try that and come to the net. Then you see Nadal, who was at the beginning of his career kind of just like moonballing the backhand down the line and saying like, okay, off your backhand, you're mostly going to have to go cross. Then now you see like the way he finished his career was hitting over that backhand cross court hard quite a bit. Still wouldn't necessarily always take it up the line as much, but he was willing to rip that one cross. Novak Djokovic starts hitting second serves big sometimes, right? I can't remember the year. I think it was when he was working with Todd Martin, but there was like a moment where he's like 16 double faults into a match, like these kind of things, like really struggling with it for like, what is that, 2009, 10, like in that moment before he broke through like a second time in 11. So all these guys have had to go through a lot of reinventions of their game to stay on top of it. And I think that's why I would say the gap is bigger because Alcaraz is kind of going through this moment where people are questioning him a little bit. Like at this moment, which I think is the dumbest thing. He's going to go through that phase where the first time he came around, everything was like an upside, right? Everything was a surprise. He beats this person. There was not that pressure of like, you can't lose to this person. Then you kind of ride that wave because those things don't end in a moment, right? You get on a good run, that momentum lasts. But then you kind of hit a wall and you have to see like, okay, what's the next thing? Like those waves, that's an interesting thing. And I think that's the biggest differentiator why those guys, I would say, were a gap ahead of everybody else more.